Hello and welcome back to the PACG Rocket League broadcast. I am still Archie Salik Smith, and I am still here with the incredibly awesome Andrew Stentz, bringing you what's going to be here, Arizona versus Stanford here for a second match of the day.
Yeah, and this one's going to be an interesting matchup because I know Arizona, they played in the Collegiate Rocket League last year, and they were one of the favorites. They are a very good squad, so I'm interested to see if Stanford can keep it competitive, to be quite honest. I have seen nothing from Stanford, so they could easily come out and just mop these people. This is week 1, by the way. So, but in the past, Arizona's always had a very good Rocket League team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to have in this matchup.
All right, so Arizona kind of the more established favorites here, but that does give Stanford the opportunity for the upset early on. We'll see what they're able to do. We get those rosters in front of us, and let's talk about the players. You've talked to the Arizona guys a bit. Tell me about Planting Cargo and his boys.
Yeah, Planting Cargo is he's just simply put, he's a monster. He is the best Rocket League player I've seen outside of the RLCS. And I'm not gassing him up or anything. Well, I am gassing him up, but he deserves it. That man is next level. He's ranked champion 2 in Division 1 right now. So I honestly, when we look at the two rosters, all 3 players to me for Arizona have the head-to-head matchup covered. When we look at Stanford, I mean, the best player on Stanford, I'd have to say, is going to be Zormask, but he's going to have to go real hard to kind of compete with the likes of JoJo Cats and Planting Cargo.
I don't know, might be a little bit of a hard first match, but let's go ahead and give those rosters down. Playing for Stanford, it's Merlin, Zormask, and Dope Dinosaurs. Across the way, we already introduced Planting Cargo, but we've also got JoJo Cats and Jackbo on their roster. Do either of these teams have any substitutes, other people for fighting for spots here, or is this what we got?
Actually, yeah, Arizona's currently playing with 2 substitutes. Both JoJo Cats and Jackbo are actually competing for the 3rd spot on their starting lineup. So I don't know if that's some sort of mind games or if their team chemistry is going to be off, because that could hurt Arizona. If they're not playing together as a team, we could see Stanford come out with what I would consider to be an upset here tonight.
So there's going to be a little bit of sub-narrative going on in this game. It's not just Arizona versus Stanford. It's JoJo Cats against Jackbo. Who can put out the hotter plays and who can do it faster? But, well, I guess we're going to see pretty quickly. It looks like we're just about ready to go into game here. I hope it's an exciting one.
Yeah, as we can see here, the 50-50 gets started off, and it looks pretty close, but JoJo Cats is right there with the demo on Zormax.
All right, not quite the start you're looking for, but Jackbo and Planting Cargo with the early goal in just under 8 seconds.
All right, this scares me right here because in 8 seconds, they're already up 1-0. And to be honest, as you can see, Planting Cargo, Season 6 Grand Champion, the man's a monster. He could just he's just going to put Arizona on his back, and they're just going to, that's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned that we're not going to see enough out of Merlin and Zormask and Dinosaurs to, I mean, this has been all Arizona.
JoJo Cat has another one on target and scores yet again for his team. Arizona off to a very strong start.
Yeah, if I was Stanford right now, I look at each other, or if they're not sitting next to each other, in the team comms, I want there to be nothing but positivity right now. Because it's been 15 seconds and you're down.
Hey, Merlin's already got one on goal, forces JoJo Cat into a defensive position. They still got this. Stanford guys are smart, probably. And
I mean, they got it in Stanford. I didn't, so I mean, we got that going for them. So.
And I specifically applied, so that means they must be smarter than me, probably. But not smart enough to stop Jackbo from getting the 3rd goal for his team. So we saw JoJo Cat. Is that all 3? That's all 3?
Yeah, I mean, that was Jackbo on that one.
Yeah, but we started with Planting Cargo, then we got JoJo Cat. Yeah, that's all 3 in under 30 seconds.
And so this is getting ugly real fast. I think this is. Oh,
it's going to be a test of will for Stanford.
A test of will for Stanford. It's going to be a test of will for me. I got to watch this. So Arizona's up 3-0 with not even a minute has gone by, and it looks like they're about to put another one on the board.
But a demolition in front of the goal actually puts a damper on that plan. If Cargo was there, not exploding, that could have been another one for his team.
Now, what I want to know here is, why is the Stanford logo a tree when they're the Stanford Cardinal? it makes no sense to me.
Listen, I've been asking that question for years. No one will tell me. It's some kind of conspiracy, man.
Like, these are some of the brightest minds in the world who go to Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. It's a beautiful campus, wonderful weather. As you see, Planting Cargo get another goal. This is getting out of hand even faster than I thought it was going to.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You know, the Wildcats are just putting it on right now, and I honestly don't know what Stanford can do to stop it.
If I am the other teams in this league who aren't Arizona and Stanford and I am watching this game, I'm going to be a little nervous.
Yeah, no, if I'm other teams in the PACG right now, when I see Arizona on the schedule, I'm writing down a little L next to our name in that matchup, because this is just ridiculous. As you see, Arizona put another goal on the board. I'd have to look at the rule set, but there's got to be some sort of, I don't know if there is or not, but I know in public matches and like ranked play and things, you can forfeit. I mean,
but we don't forfeit in the PACG. Like, they're on training. There's people watching. You got it. You got to go. You got to put your best foot forward, play to the end of the game, play out the clock, make something happen. If nothing else, Stanford needs to stick into this just so they can watch Arizona, study their moves. Jackbo backs up for the last tap, scores another one for his squad.
Arizona's literally doing whatever they want. It's like a pub. This is ridiculous. Stanford, what I want to see from you guys is I want to see you score at least one goal. There is 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in the game. You're down 6-0. Show some pride for your school. Show some pride for yourselves. I want to see you come out and at least put a goal on the board.
Like they've got to. That's all that has to be going through Stanford's comms right now. They're sitting in this game like, we got to get something on. We got to get something on them. As Jojakat looks to get a little something more for his team. Is he writing backwards on that wall there? But now it's Merlin looking to clear it out. Zormask, it's on him for the clear. Actually, they're really going heavy on this defense. They've got a lot of people in that goalie box at any given time, and it's starting to pay for them. Arizona's rate of goals has slowed down considerably.
Well, yeah, if I was down 6-0, you best believe I'd start playing some freaking defense. It seems like it's a little late now, but that's what you got to do to stop the bleeding. As you see, the ball gets back into Stanford's zone as Planting Cargo plays it in the corner. I honestly don't know what to say right now. I don't know what Stanford can do better other than just get good.
And to be honest, I think they're kind of getting good as we're watching them. If the Stanford that came out at like the 8-second mark,
Planting Cargo.
That's what I get.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about whatever we want. We can go into different little things that each team is doing wrong or each team is doing right. But as you can tell, Arizona's been together longer as a squad, and they're just outplaying Stanford in every facet of the game.
That's going to happen. Not all schools are going to have the luxury. As our schools do not accept students based on how good they are at Rocket League. So it's a little bit of a lottery of which team is just going to happen to collect the most good players for their esport in any given game.
I mean, that could be the future, though. I'd love to get a full ride for, like, my skills in anything. Like, if I was, like, Utah's the first Power 5 school to do it. We're giving scholarships to people for league and other games like that. So, I mean, eventually, it could be on, you could be on your college application. You put if you're good at it as a skill, like, that would be lit.
That would be possible. That would lend itself to some more competitive matches if schools actively sought out students for their performance in these esports. It would do wonders for the health of the league if they're able to do so, and would make more of these sets go like match one as opposed to, oh my god, we're still in game one.
Yeah, I mean, we got the game going on, but what I really want to talk about here is what can Stanford do in game 2 in this series to show some signs of life?
Right now, they're in watch and learn mode. They recognize, okay, Arizona's probably a little bit better than us.
We'll see. Jesus. This is next level. This is just utter domination. I mean, yeah, I love the players on Stanford. I'm sure they're all nice guys, and they're certainly better than me at Rocket League. But
how many times are we going to say that this broadcast?
A lot, because I am not that good.
Well, all right, but so we're talking about game 2 and what Stanford needs to do there. Well, they need to find their footings. They need to recognize their strengths, play to them, have some confidence in the skills that they do have, play their game.
I mean, as you see, Arizona's up 10-0. At this point, I have my controller down. I'm just walking around wondering, what am I doing with my life? But Stanford, the players on this team are mentally stronger and more capable than me. They don't tilt like I do. So I want to see when we get into game 2, whenever we get there, however badly Arizona wins this. I mean, right now they're just toying with them. I mean, Planting Cargo's got 6 goals and 10 shots. Literally, I have no words to say about how good Arizona is playing right now.
All right. Well, here's the thing for me. We've talked about what does Stanford need to do. What does Stanford need to do? What does Arizona need to do going forward?
Keep playing the way they're playing. Their aerials are next level. Their teamwork and coordination, even with 2 substitutes, is very good. Honestly, that's what scares me the most. This isn't Arizona's set roster. They're playing with their starter, Planting Cargo, and they're playing with 2 possible subs here. And I want to know what it's going to look like when they finally have the final 3 set, because right now they're just next level. They look like they're in a league of their own.
All right, so you've talked to these guys a bit, so I guess my question is, going forward, are they going to, like, will they start trolling at some point here?
Oh, 100%. They've already been trolling. They're not trolling too hard. I mean, it's kind of respectful trolling because they're trying to burn out the clock, but they're not going to stop trying to score. They're not going to stop playing. It's fun. You're not. That's just, they're competitive people. They're, like, speaking of these guys earlier, these kids, well, I guess they're men. These men will not stop trying. They'll just start trying to do a little bit more riskier things. Start relaxing a little bit because I mean they just won 11-0.
That's understandable. Getting a little relaxed with that kind of.
Oh, it's not over. This could be 12. Oh my God.
Plenty.
Do
you think they timed that?
I think they're just doing this for the broadcast. I'm going to call them up afterwards and thank them for what they're doing for us here. I mean, this is the PACG, this is Rocket League, and this is Arizona dominating Stanford in Game 1. I mean, as you can see, the GGs are in the chat, but if I'm Stanford, I'm lost.
So it'll be a bit of a test for the players' characters going forward here. Part of what really makes a good competitive player is how do you bounce back from a loss? You're going to look at the 12-0 score line and just play the next game with your controller on the table, or are you going to go for the upset? We kind of hypothesized that Stanford come in winning would be an upset. Now, Stanford getting a goal is an upset result here. Will they have the spirit, kind of the fortitude, the endurance to keep playing for that, keep going for that? If they do, that speaks good for the potential of this team to grow over the season.
Oh, 100%. I fully expect Stanford to come out and go 100%. It's a brand new game. These guys are competitive. They are representing not only their schools, but themselves. They don't want to go out and just get mopped on the floor and have idiots like me trash talk them the entire time. They're going to come out and they're going to try to prove me, prove everyone, all the doubters wrong. And when they do, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to love every second of it. Stanford's going to come out and they're going to at least score a goal. That's my wild prediction for this next game. Stanford, get a goal, please.
It's pretty tame for a wild prediction there, buddy.
They just lost 12-0. That's a pretty bold prediction to predict a goal.
I consider myself a man of faith. I'm going 2.
Oh wow.
They get 2.
You know what? I think this next game's going to be closer. Hopefully Stanford, in this little break in between matches here, they're talking over what went wrong. Because, I mean, once you're down 6-0, 5-0 that early in a game, you're kind of writing that off, and you're starting to look towards this next game. And so I really want to see Stanford come out and show that they've learned from Game 1 and that they're improving.
I mean, I think it kind of goes without saying they're improving a little bit. You mentioned 6-0. That was very early on in the game, but I would say that kind of happens in the first 2 minutes or so. Then over the next 3 minutes, well, 6 goals in 3 minutes is better than 6 goals in 2 minutes for the defenders. So that's obvious active improvement from them. Now, they have to continue that improvement. They have to shore up where things weren't so great. They got to identify their strengths, play to them as best they can, and more importantly, just keep their heads on the right track, keep the right mentality when going forward, and we'll see what they got here in Game 2. You got anything to say for Arizona, though?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Everything looks well. If the only thing I would want to say is, I mean, we don't have access to comm, but I'd love to hear what the communication between them is like. because since they're playing with they don't have their full roster. They don't know what their full roster is yet. I'd love to see how kind of the teamwork is meshing in the comms. But as we go into game 2 here, I want to see Stanford coordinate their pushes better. That was one of the main problems in that game 1, is that once they got down, they just kind of all started doing their own thing. And Rocket League's a team game. You gotta coordinate what you're doing. You gotta always know who's gonna rotate back on defense when needed, and how they're gonna push. You gotta call out what you're gonna do. If you're gonna center the ball, you need to tell your teammates that so they can get in position to put a shot on goal. So I want to see them communicate and work better as a team, and it looks like we are getting started with our game number 2 here.
All right, game 1 was all about mechanics, but this one, I hope to see a game about team play. It's Stanford working together. Now Jojo Cat and I think Cargo working together pretty early on. Jojo has the shot on lock, but good follow-up by Cargo to be there in case something goes awry.
See, what I noticed there is that Stanford on that, they stacked 3 cars into that back left quadrant kind of area, and no one stayed back in goal, and they were kind of stacking their cars. That's not a good way to play defense. I'd love to see them spread out more and always have someone sitting back in goal or kind of near mid-map goal so that they can play some better defense.
All right, Zormask should be in position. They got Merlin in the goal. They got all 3 players back here where they need to be. So I like to see that. Jackbo in the air. Zormak needs to get a clear out for his squad. Said going to be on Dinosaur to clear it out, is able to do so. That's what I like to see.
I mean, Stanford's still playing off their back foot, but they are playing better. They're only down 1-0. This is still a close game, and I've seen a lot better plays out of them on defense. I mean, as I say that, Merlin, that was a misplay in goal right there. He didn't rotate back into goal. He kind of thought Dinosaurs was going to get the clear there, and when he came to rotate back, he just was out of position. That's unfortunate for Stanford.
So good opportunist mindset from Arizona. They're not letting Stanford get away with anything. They're not giving them a pass on anything, and that's what I like to see. Always 100%, always in every game. That's just the good mentality.
Well, yeah, they're showing the fight. They don't think they're out of this game. Yeah, sure, game 1 was a blowout, but they're fighting hard, as you can see. I mean, Arizona hasn't really been tested on defense right now.
But now Merlin actually pulls out. That's what you're saying. Arizona, they got a little too lax, rested on their laurels. Now Zormax and Merlin come together to put the pressure on and kind of change the direction that things are going.
This excites me because Stanford's doing exactly what I want to do. They're taking the knowledge they learned in game 1 and they're applying it to this game right here. They're playing better defense and they're coordinating their offensive pushes together as a team. That's what I love to see it from Stanford.
Honestly, if they keep making the aggressive plays, I think that's going to pay dividends for them. Arizona hasn't had to play defense this entire time. They're going to get caught with their pants down if Stanford keeps bringing it to them.
Yeah, if Stanford is able to tie this up here, that would, I feel like, for their confidence, even that first goal was major for their confidence, but if they're able to tie this up, that would put them next level. I feel like they could take the game if they tie this up.
Well, it's going to start with Dinosaurs
easily.
Trying to clear this one out. It's off the wall. No one quite there for his team. Zormax on the defense wants to get the better end out of this, but it's kind of 2v1. Jojo looking to get the tap in, but a little too slow there. Takes his time, and that's Zormax get control of the ball again. Jack Bowen in scoring position, throws it at the goal, does not go in. Cargo looking for the tap. No, not gonna find it here. Merlin clears it away from him again.
This is a counter score opportunity if Arizona didn't clear that out like Jackbo did there. Sure. I like what I'm seeing from Stanford. It's much more coordinated on defense and offense. You haven't seen Arizona get a lot of easy goals. They have to work for everything they're doing right now.
So, fighting back into it. Dinosaurs wants to catch it on the landing. Doesn't quite find it. Merlin rushing back. Gets the good defensive positioning. Will let him clear this out here. Doesn't quite find it, but he was absolutely in the right place. Now Jojo positioning it here. Wants to set up Cargo. Not really getting a lot of momentum on it, though. And now
This is dangerous. This is dangerous. That was important for Merlin to rotate back there because both of the other defenders were out of position on that.
Just out of boost, out of speed. Can't keep the ball rolling, but Cargo rolls it back into goal for the third one for Arizona in game 2.
See, this is a much tighter game because of Stanford's communication, but I love what Arizona's doing. They're noticing the kind of way that Stanford's rotating back on defense, their preferred kind of play style as a defensive team, and they're adjusting to that. They're trying, instead of going for ridiculous aerials, they're trying to do coordinated pushes with passes and centers, so that they're trying to set up Planting Cargo to put it into the net, and that's what I love to see because he is really their star player.
They're playing kind of safe ground balls and high percentage plays that will get them consistent results here. A lot less showboating in this one, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
I mean, we all love a good, walloping, but when we see teams like this, the improvement from game 1 to game 2 for Stanford is, I think, the storyline right now. They are playing much better Rocket League. They're playing as a team versus 3 individuals.
And the aggro is really, it's really up there. Not quite sure what the tap there from Jojo was. Slight mechanical misplay, which is something we're not used to seeing from Arizona.
Yeah, right as I was hyping up Stanford in their communication there, they should have been scored on there. That was, they had no one back sitting in goal, and then the ball's getting centered just like that. You gotta always have someone in goal when the ball is in your zone. But good on Arizona for capitalizing on this opportunity.
They got players near the goal there, just couldn't get anyone in the air for the deflection on that one. Still about a minute left in this one. Stanford much closer this time around. Jojo Cat's in the dangerous position. Throws the ball towards the goal, looking for a Planting Cargo, and he doesn't follow up. Merlin from the wall, looking for the clear. Jack Bow says, not going to let it happen. I'm going to throw it into your goalie box. Cargo says, I'm going to throw it into your goal. But Dinosaurs, he doesn't care what they're saying. He wants this ball out of there, and he does just that.
Yeah, I love to see Stanford get at least one more good coordinated offensive push in this game, because they've improved a lot on their coordination and their teamwork, but I want to see them get 2 goals on the board. That first one was a result of good play, and it looks like they could get another one right here.
They are on the offense again, but Jojo Cats has control of the ball. Passes it up to Jackbo. No, Merlin intercepts that pass. Does not let that happen. 3 players up in the air. Ball is being juggled, but now in the air, landing near no one. That's going to be the game 2 for... No, it's still in. Jojo keeps it alive for the last second goal for 5-1 for Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona just, I feel like with that last goal, they wanted to prove that, yeah, we're still the team that just 12-0'd you. But what I love right there is not only is Arizona still keeping their foot on the gas pedal, but Stanford is starting to get closer and closer to being on a more competitive level with Arizona.
And that's what they did over like a 2-minute pause between games. What they're going to be able to do by the end of the season, that could be scary.
Yeah, I do not count Stanford out in this one. I mean, if every game they're getting better. They got 12-0 in the first one. They got 1 goal in that game too. I think we could see 3, 4, 5 goals out of Stanford in this next one. That's my bold prediction. I see Stanford. Arizona's defense has not been tested in this game. I want to see Stanford push Arizona's defense I want to see them test it. I want to see them. The only problem with that is Stanford's rotations back after offensive pushes have been lackluster. So even if they try and do these all-out offensive pushes, I'm a little bit scared that Arizona could make them pay.
They can, and that's always something you have to keep in mind when you're playing those really aggressive styles. But, it worked really well for Utah in our last match. They rarely had to play defense because they were just keeping the pressure on so much. If Stanford can pick up that kind of style, that's going to really flip the script on Arizona. That's something they can break. That's something they did very good in Game 2. That's a large part of what let them have that sharp performance. And they got to bring more of that. They have to bring more of that.
Yeah, I mean, am I going to predict Stanford to take this Game 3? No, I'm not. Arizona's looked like the better team in all facets of the game. But Stanford is showing noticeable signs of improvement from game to game. And that's what excites me, because whoever they're playing next week or the week after is got to be a little bit worried, because Arizona has shown that they are a very top echelon team, one of the best teams in PACG. So if Stanford can just show those signs of improvement in week 1 against Arizona, that should scare some other teams, because, I mean, we haven't seen anyone else play with their current rosters play Arizona, but Stanford's starting to look like they could be a scary team come week 4, week 5.
They could be, and honestly, for Arizona's sake, Stanford does kind of need to come out aggressive here. We've talked about Arizona's defense being untested. What I really loved about match 1, the Colorado versus Utah game, it was the back and forth. These were teams that are very close to each other. Edge sharpens edge. Two really good teams playing against each other will improve them more than any mismatch or stomp. Arizona wants to benefit from playing a really good team. They want Stanford to come out here and make them show something they haven't shown before. And that's just part of the improvement process. So both teams want this to be a good Game 3. They want it to be close. And I think it can be. I think it absolutely can be.
I think it certainly can be close to, but if I had to predict the final scoreline of Game 3, I predict Arizona taking it 7-3.
7-3. Very specific right there. Sounds like it would be a very high-scoring game. I don't know if I agree with that prediction, but that does sound like a good game for all parties. That means their offense is firing on all cylinders for both teams. They're having their opportunities. They would have to be setting each other well to get that kind of score line going. And honestly, that would just be kind of high octane, really. If you get that kind of back and forth that frequently, that'd be an exciting game.
Well, I
want it to be 7-3. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I expect Stanford to start taking some more risks on offense. I want to see them get the ball in the zone, and when they do that, I don't think they're going to be prepared to rotate back on defense quick enough, especially with playing a team like Arizona that we've seen can just put shots on goal like no other. So that's why I kind of expect that scoreline, because Stanford's improving, and I feel like they really need to take this opportunity. They're playing such a good team to just get better. I think they should try out some strategies maybe they've been thinking about or discussing but haven't really implemented yet. I want to see them try out some whatever they have. I want them to reach deep into their bag of tricks and pull out all of the stops for this match. I want to see some crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff sounds right up my alley, all things considered. Could be exciting. Want to see. I'd be really interested in seeing Stanford do something weird. It's a good opportunity. It seems very unlikely they're going to lose this game, right? So it becomes an opportunity for the players then to maybe try out some new strategy, something that's unproven, and in a game where you're probably not going to lose anything because you're probably going to lose no matter what, you get a chance to try out something in a real competitive environment. So, that being said, let's go ahead and get into this Game 3. We'll see what's going to happen. Oh, hello. We seem to be coming in a bit late here.
Yeah, we're coming in late, and Arizona's already up 4-0 as planting Cargo with the hat trick already. It's not even a minute gone through. I hope that Stanford is going to take some of the lessons they've learned and apply them in this game. Otherwise, we could see a repeat of Game 1.
I'm absolutely glad we got the replay on that shot. I mean, I didn't appreciate it properly the first time we went through. Cargo, he bumped that into the air for himself, then rode off the ceiling to tap it in. That is the most insane mechanical play we have seen yet. And he's not stopping. He's not stopping.
See, Arizona is doing what good teams do. It was a closer game too, but they're taking the things that they learned about how Stanford likes to play, the things Stanford is trying, and they're adjusting to it, and they're just outplaying them. So these players, they are very good at kind of noticing what they need to do to improve versus certain teams. That's why in these best of fives, you can see such drastic changes from game to game as teams kind of adjust to different play styles. But I just feel like the skill ceiling is just higher for Arizona, especially in week 1, since they've been playing together for so long.
Now Merlin wants to clear this out quickly. He's up in the air, does get the tap away, but Arizona's there waiting for him. Landing Targo doesn't get hit, but Jack Bow does. Joe Duquette looks for the jump, wants to get the tap downwards towards goal, does find it planting Cargo, follows up there, but it's Merlin in control of the ball, sending it away, but Jojo Cats throws it right on back. Stanford just can't get the ball out of here.
Yeah, Arizona's just putting their foot on the throats of Stanford. They do not want to let them get anything going here. And I think for Arizona, it's more of, I think they want to show that to the rest of the PACG league that they are not to be trifled with, that they are a serious team that should be respected constantly as they go up 6-0 here with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock.
And right now, Jackbo is fighting for that spot on this team. If I'm sitting there, if I'm like Arizona's team coach and I am looking at these three guys play, how do you justify benching any of them for anyone else?
Honestly, I don't know, because we haven't seen what their other substitute brings to the table yet. I think for team choices, especially in Rocket League, it's going to come down to the team chemistry, the communications, the people like me who tilt way too easily and start being unproductive, or if they can calm themselves down and kind of refocus, and so they can come back in games. That's what I want to see from their team, like, discussion over these next couple weeks.
Yeah, but now it's going to be a continued three-man offensive from Arizona. Only, oh, hello, destruction on the court there. Jackbo needs to kind of pick up for the slack for his fallen teammate there. Wants to clear this out. Ball in a risky spot near the goal. Very dangerous to cross the ball in front of your own goal like that.
See, this is what I like to see. Stanford's starting to put the pressure on Arizona. I want to see more of Arizona's defense. I haven't been convinced how good they are yet, just simply because we haven't seen a whole lot of it. I mean, Arizona's offense has been so good. We've never had a chance to really watch how their defense plays when you know, good amounts of pressure are applied for long periods of time.
And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's going to come until we get a slightly better match up for them going forward. But Stanford, they don't care what I have to say. They're doing this for them. Victory seems unlikely. They still want to make some plays. Zormax does just that. Gets Stanford's first goal in this next one.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not convinced that Arizona's defense is good. I don't know if they're just trying to run up the score on them, so they're starting to do risky things offensively. But they're not rotating back on defense nearly well enough to, you know, compete at the highest level, which I know that they can.
Yes.
So Stanford's really got an opportunity here to kind of prove that they aren't just a pushover Rocket League school, that they do have very good skill in Rocket League. But as I say that, Arizona puts another goal on the board. Planting Cargo has literally been a monster the entire series, and it's been a pleasure to watch.
He has been planting some dangerous cargo on Stanford's side of the map. Well, Arizona's at 7. If Stanford gets like 2 in a row here and then stall at the clock, you could still be right yet, Stents.
I know. If Stanford gets 2 more goals on the board, I think I'm going to retire as a caster. My first major prediction would be, well, I guess my second one. But as we go in here, Arizona's continuing to put the pressure on. It's now 8-1. Planting Cargo is literally doing whatever he wants out there. And his teammates are helping him out. They're putting the ball in the right spot for him to send it home. And there's not much more than you can say than that. Arizona's simply playing better offense than Stanford's playing defense. But when I look at Stanford's defense, I don't see any major weaknesses other than just Arizona's aerial attack is just simply put really good.
Seems to be just that. Unfortunately, it seems Stanford is actually now down a player. Merlin seems to have disconnected from the game here, as now Planting Cargo and Jackbo want to put in another goal here, or they're just going to circle it back. Dope Dinosaurs, it's looking rough for his team, but he's trying to make this play for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the sign that the game is over. Stanford's playing 2 versus 3. He had a player leave the lobby. I just want to see, in the future, I want to see Stanford try to rebound from this loss. I mean, there were some good moments there. There were
the
some
team's
good
got potential.
Exactly.
Potential
They've had good offensive pushes, and since they've been playing defense so much, they're starting to get better at it. But if you have someone who doesn't, or if the team doesn't want to put in the effort and grind and fix the mistakes, we could be seeing more of this throughout the season.
Like, we don't have a really way from knowing from what we're seeing. I hope that's a DC on Merlin's part. I hope he was involuntarily taken out of the game. I never want to see my players just give up on the field. That makes me very upset as a spectator, as a commentator. These guys have an awesome privilege to be able to play in front of a crowd for their school, for their pride, and I really don't respect any player who takes that lightly.
As you can see, Arizona's going to win this last match of the series 10-1 and take the 3-0 victory in this match. I expected it to be closer. I wanted it to be closer, but Arizona's out there proving that they are currently the team to beat in the PACG.
All right, so let's say you're Utah, you're Colorado, You're one of the higher end teams. You're capable of performing at a high level, and you see Arizona do that. What's your takeaway?
I gotta go grind. I gotta go play more as a team. We gotta practice. We gotta grind out the matches. We gotta get our communication and our team pushes on point. We have to watch Arizona's film to see what they are doing to just put that many goals on the board, and see if we can come up with any good strategies to stop it.
I mean, the mechanical skill demonstrated. It's insane. I've never seen anything like that. Their team play is top notch. Arizona has earned their way to this 3-0 victory. And it makes me excited to see what they're going to do against teams closer to their levels. I want to see Arizona play Utah. I think that could be an absolutely intense game. I'm excited for that. It might not be great for Utah fans, potentially, but it should be an excellent game of Rocket League.
Yeah, if I had to guess going into the future of the PACG season here for Rocket League, I'd have to say Arizona certainly looks like the team to beat. You can't make an argument for anyone else at this point. But I also feel like Stanford, they're doing some things right. They are working together as a team, especially in that game too. I loved what I saw there. They started to make some strides on their defensive front, and they were able to start getting some coordinated team pushes into the Arizona side. And as you saw, they were able to score, and that's something they couldn't do in game one. So as they go forward, I want to see them get back to playing. I want to see them work out whatever communication issues or just, positioning issues they have on the map there, and I want to see them work through those, and I want to see them get better. It's like, as a caster, I love to see competitive games, especially when they shouldn't be, like Stanford, Arizona. We all kind of thought that Arizona was going to show that they were the dominant team, but I would have loved to see Stanford come out with a little bit more fire in their belly.
So, talking about the future, let's go ahead, look at our schedule here. Next week, it's going to be USC versus Wash State. There's only two teams we have yet to see in the Rocket League division. We're going to have to see what they can bring. But the match we can talk a little bit more about is Colorado versus Stanford. It's their second game of the day. What's that going to look like?
I am very excited for that one. Colorado coming off a close loss to Utah, where there was some brilliant gameplay out of them, especially in game, I believe, 3. But they've shown that they have the clutch factor on their team and that they can close out close games. But I want to see if Colorado, when they get down, say 3 goals, 4 goals or something like that, because it's a long season. Eventually that's going to happen. So I want to see if they're going to be able to come back, because in game 5 against Utah, they got down early and then they got down big, and they never really recovered. So that's what I'm interested to see. In that game, I want to see what Stanford are we going to get. Are we going to get game 1, game 3 Stanford, or are we going to get game 2 Stanford from today? So if we get game 2 Stanford, this could be a very close game.
It can be. It's going to be a great proving ground for Stanford. Colorado's not some unstoppable juggernaut force of nature. They're a very good team. On paper, they were an incredibly strong team. I don't think they're unbeatable for Stanford. This could be a chance for them to show what they learned from playing against Arizona and kind of make that potential a reality thing for them.
See, that's the other thing I want to see. I want to see if Arizona is just that good, and Stanford, I want to see where Stanford truly is, because if Arizona is just that much better than everyone else, it's not a really good test of their skill. So I want to see Stanford play one of our more mid-level teams, kind of a team that we know, that we've seen play Utah, and that it's going to be competitive. Because if Arizona is going to come out and just beat teams like that, then we can't really read anything into the games that people play against them.
I mean, then that's just not fair to compare Stanford to them at that point. Still, by the end of next week, we'll have seen everybody play. We'll have a better feel for what Colorado and Stanford are. We'll have a very good idea of how all of our teams kind of measure up to each other. So that's going to be exciting, and I do believe that is all we have here for you guys today. Stents, any closing words before we sign off here?
I don't know about you guys, but I had a wonderful time watching some good Rocket League today. I had fun casting with my pal Archie. So I want to thank you all for coming out. I want to let you guys know we will be here next week. We'll be here every Friday for the foreseeable future. Tell your friends, invite everyone out. It's always a good time here. And, yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
All right, I do believe that will do it for us tonight. Well, then, signing off, I am Archie Sleek Smith. You can follow me at Twitter at SleekyArches. Joined here today with my boy, Andrew Stentz, where can they find you on Twitter?
At Stents_. It's always lit. Toss me a follow. Follow PACG while you're at it so you can stay up to date with all of our other games, and all of the information for that is linked below the stream.
All right, so that should be it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in to the PACG. We have been honored to have you as our audience today. With that out of the way, signing off.